Devlog number 2.
Yo.
Number 2. Number 2.
You got
That's
two of them.
Some say 2 is the best number. It's nice. It's a prime. Some people debate on that one, but it is a prime.
Wait, is it? I guess it is.
It's a prime number.
Fuck, 2's prime.
Well, really, people debate more about 1. That's why 1 is fucky and 2 is better. Okay. So yeah, let's just.
2 can be as bad as 1, you might say.
Be as bad as 1. Okay, so.
69.
This past week, progress got made.
Hell of progress.
Currently, let's just clean up the scene real quick. Okay, so we've got a player right now. So the week before last, we added in this experience level up thing, and now we have like a counter for skill points.
Is that sound I'm hearing from it?
No.
Huh.
No, no sound yet. We're getting there. But now we have like a wheel for like leveling stuff up. So now like that's the distance icon. This is the damage, and it takes the skill points off. And now our fireballs, they go further with every click. Look at that.
Oh man, hell yeah.
Look at that. We can make it go even further.
It looks way better in terms of the collision physics.
Some other things. Quality of life, the AoE. Now, AoE is where we click, which is... Can't tell you how long that was on the laundry list. Let's see here. So...
Ooh.
So all of the basic abilities now, I redid the whole mouse wheel. I redid the whole entire UI system. It was so trash before. I was doing it in 3D space. Now I'm using buttons in the canvas and the UI. I'm using Unity as it was intended by smarter people than me. But, that being said, check it out.
Ooh, we got an angry cat somewhere.
Cats on cats. See, they're not acting like that when I'm not around. And then as soon as we're around, they act like we're gonna... Here, you pet Kuru and I'll pet that. Maybe. I think that'll work. The next time Kuru pops over here, we got a system. We got 2 cats. They're meeting each other. So whenever they get close, I'm like, I pet both of them at the same time. I give them nice, equal pets. That way. This has a lot to do with video game development. You guys will see later. But yeah. So we can change hotkeys now. As you can see, this dash key name. We can now dash with like O, which is.
And can you just on the fly change hotkeys?
Yeah.
That's
And
fucking
you
tight,
can
man.
on the fly just out of bounds or whatever. Let's see, is it gonna... Yeah, you can't really tell, but I'm pressing O now to dash instead of spacebar. O is probably the worst hotkey to have it on. Don't recommend. But yeah, we just have the little system for changing hotkeys on the fly, as well as accessing a skill tree. Let's back out of here. The skill tree is for the basic attack coming along. I haven't fully implemented those buttons, obviously, but we're getting there.
Oh, we're getting fucking somewhere, man. Like this is huge. Once we finish this, I feel like that's one of the like the UI. You know, this is probably one of the biggest things left besides the levels and everything. I mean, maybe some of the boss mechanics.
No, yeah.
That type of shit.
The skill tree is definitely one of the last big pieces of work left. probably just gonna be an ongoing thing
Yeah.
for the foreseeable future.
We'll especially want to balance it after we get like the final version of the game going. In terms of like the levels and the bosses, we might want to tweak and touch up a few things we notice.
A big part of the a big part of the balancing can come from like, you know, we get to pick how many skill points people get for each level, which is, you know, part of balancing, part of how fast people level up, but also within the just, let's see if we can find the UI.
Number go burr.
Number go burr. Alright, it's in the sometimes. Sometimes. And there is a... I don't know why this is hard to find right now. Oh, it's just... it wasn't even in there. Okay. So, we have our skill icons. We have... So, all of the upgrades, they have, you know, basically a public variable for modifying how much they're going to add. Like the damage, right now I just have it set to where when you upgrade that, you get 5 more damage, essentially.
Man, that's not a bad way to do it.
So, yeah, it keeps it very modular. It could be modified pretty easily later on if we wanted to, like, scale more.
Yeah, it's easy to tweak with as well.
Yep.
Like if we just want to do like a small change without fucking with the whole thing.
Right. So, yeah, that was a week's worth of stuff. I freaking redid the whole UI and made it better and made progress on it.
Oh, it's looking good, man.
Some small, like, quality of life changes as well. But, yeah, we just out here. This is the new test scene. For those of you familiar, we had an old test scene. The old test scene shit the bed in a not a good way.
How so? Did it like crash or something?
No, there was just... Alright, so, like, I was just adding stuff all the time, and, eventually, just something I added and I couldn't find it was just completely fucking with the player movement, to where the mouse just wasn't tracking with it, essentially. It was a whole thing. But this is the current test scene, where we have, you know, a little slice of whatever. Set up some trees, some dirt, some grass, all good things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So right now, I mean, it'll probably just be this for a while. Like we're just gonna, you know, you're gonna be touching up the UI and working on like that type of shit. I mean, finishing off UI and just the programming side of things, and I'll probably be grinding away on levels for the next dev blog or two at least. You know, probably.
I thought, as a way to change it up, I'm thinking, so this next week, I'm thinking I want to finish the basic attack skill tree, and then the teleport tree, and maybe hold off on the AoE tree. But I'm thinking it's just like a fun little thing I'm going to make just to switch it up completely from the workflow. I think I'm gonna work on making a little blacksmith shop. That way we can have a place for interfacing with item pickups and start potentially doing stuff with items.
Well, and so one thought that just occurred to me, are the bullets going to collide in any way? Because you could have a lot of these skills, with it being a bullet hell kind of, you could have a lot of the skills be to where they don't just attack the enemies, but they also attack the projectiles.
That's a good idea. We should write that down. That could be like a level up kind of skill. upgrade along in the skill tree. So currently, we have the basic attack skill tree, which is pretty basic. But later on in the game, you're going to be able to pick an element to augment on top of that, which will open up the skill tree substantially.
So you can pick like one of the elements and you can specialize in it basically.
Right, for any given one of your abilities. So in game, you're gonna have your basic attack and your dash and your AoE. They're gonna be comprised of 3 different elements essentially. There might be a way to make them all the same element. I'm not too sold on that idea yet. I don't know how I would implement it.
You either have to divide the elements by like which style of attack they're doing, or you have to give them sort of a theme to their attacks. Like you can have multiple attacks that immobilize the enemy, but just in like maybe fire uses smoke to block people, whereas ice would use a wall, whereas rocks might make a rock slide or mud or something, you know. But or you could just have each one be like a style of gameplay that appeals to a type. Like I think we should aim for it to appeal to a specific play style, so that way you can have multi-play style dynamics and shit.
No, yeah, it's essentially gonna be like the difference between like damage and sustain and mobility and like.
That would definitely be a good
outplay,
one to
maybe
to like let someone max mobility. That would be a fun fucking, especially in a bullet hell.
Right. I think like as far as just something I was thinking about last night actually was just like the player movement speed, and I think I'm honestly going to just incorporate that as an upgrade in the dash skill tree. That just seems to make
like passive move speed.
Yeah, it seems to make sense.
No, yeah, I totally see that. What would you maybe each skill could have its own passive upgrade. Like earth could make you more resistant to damage, fire could make you do more damage, you know, like just different. So like each element would have like active things that contribute to a playstyle, but also passives that would boost that specific playstyle.
No, yeah, that's a good way. I'm thinking the fire, I don't know, because there's so many like damage over time things that could be implemented, and I'm trying to decide where the damage over time abilities come from. I'm thinking like the AoE ability, one of the upgrades for the AoE ability is just like, so right now it just spawns and blows up essentially. I'm thinking one of the upgrades is going to be like it stays and there's like a little burning pool essentially.
Yeah.
That'll be like a damage over time thing, but also I do just in the see if we can find it. I do just have a damage over time script, but it is lost right now.
I do still like the idea of that tornado attack, but I could see like I just don't know if we want to go full in on the air element, you know, like I do. It might even be like the dash could be an air skill even type of thing.
No, yeah.
And like air is all focused on dodging and mobility and shit.
I think elements are gonna be significantly later in the development process.
No, that's a good idea because we should should definitely get the frame down before we start deciding what to paint.
What I'm thinking really is just that so the first stage, like kind of this forest level, whatever, stuff before you get to actually pick your route. I'm thinking they're not gonna unlock elemental abilities until they start venturing onto the second stage. Um,
So they can
and
just
I
have
don't
like magic, basically.
and I don't think right. You're just gonna have. I don't think the player even starts with a dash necessarily. I think that's something you
No,
unlock.
yeah, I think you should definitely have to unlock it.
But I think towards like the end of this first stage, the player's going to have like some upgrades in their basic attack or AoE, whether that be like a little bit of damage or more distance on the abilities.
You could even have it theoretically to where they gain. I guess this might not work with the level system, but if they like gained some boost to their ability by defeating a boss, or maybe an optional enemy even boosts them or something.
Yeah, I think the bosses, I think the bosses are going to give a heavy amount of XP on defeat for those skill points, but also the bosses I think are going to primarily serve to drop items or trinkets that
So yeah, that
act
makes
like
sense.
act like new abilities essentially.
No, yeah. So why even have it be ability when we have items? That's right.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
There are some quote unquote abilities, like I'm thinking like blood magic that could just be picked, like that could be like a hard to find thing, or maybe you have to do like a challenge and you get some blood magic that fuses with your fireball that gives life steal. I'm thinking that kind of a pickup, or could be implemented just into the skill tree.
Well, I mean
Where
that actually that could be the boost that you unlock, like where you're saying you unlock for one of your elements, you unlock like an extra skill tree for it. Perhaps you can get that like second, like instead of just a fire person, you could be like an explosion, a lightning mage, or instead of a water person, you could be like a healer or a life steal, like vampire powers or something, just whatever.
no,
You know?
yeah, I'm thinking water is going to be like the kind of like the sustain healing element. Um, if any of them were to have more healing than the others.
It'd be cool if water could like stop projectiles. Like maybe that's kind of like they're really good at blocking projectile or just doing stuff to like lower the damage of projectiles. Maybe even like that type of thing. Fucking
There
sort of
could,
just putting out the fires as they start.
well, another thing is like the monsters themselves will have like AoE burn abilities, so maybe the water passive ability to just take less fire damage, essentially, in some form. Like if the character's walking through a fire heavy area.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of thinking in the context of more like when you're surrounded by bullets in the middle of the bullet hell, fucking perhaps there will be certain things you can do to like clear out a space for
One of the items I'm thinking that's going to come out from a boss is going to be ice armor blocks, essentially, which I have programmed in, just like blocks that float around the character,
that would
and
be cool.
so they can do
That would be
damage
cool.
and break. So if like they run into a NPC, then it's gonna do damage and break, but it can also absorb a projectile.
And you could also do that with stone
And kind of
or
like,
like earth if you wanted to make it an earth ability.
yeah, I just have already just, it's gonna be an item, that one in particular, and like being able to upgrade it at a blacksmith will like either increase the damage that it can deal, or like the cooldown between it like spawning again.
Maybe you could even upgrade it
Or
to have more ice blocks.
no, exactly. That's gonna be the third one of the upgrades right there.
That'd be fucking awesome.
Um,
You can also, instead of us doing, we don't have to do like a full slime element, but we could do a like a slime item that does some kind of like maybe leave a trail of slime that slows enemies down or something. Just something like that.
I do have in game already a let's see. It'll be too much of a pain to find it. It's in an old testing, but I do have a fire trail script already that just leaves behind a fire trail, but that could easily be augmented to leave behind any kind of trail.
Yeah.
No, yeah. But a lot of ideas. We're at the point in the game where kind of just playing it by feel and
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's
going.
starting to take form. Like the game is definitely getting playable now. We just need to make the levels and finish off a few other things, and then we'll have a not ready to finish or ready to release, but a playable game. You know, like that actually has gameplay elements. Like it won't be too long before we're sitting here testing levels, fighting enemies, fighting bosses and shit. Like I could see that in like 2 or 3 weeks even.
Yeah, if we really grinded, we could definitely be doing bosses in the next month or so.
And at that point, once we have it, like once we have the first few levels down, it's pretty much just rinse, repeat, different ways. You know, we're just putting the pieces together. Fucking.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what we doing.
Hell yeah. I mean, yeah. Was that a devlog? I don't know.
I think
don't know.
I think that was a dev blog.
I feel like it was. Did we do the thing? Did we? I don't know. Let us know in the comments. Like and subscribe. Go tell your mom about us. We're hot. Peace.
Pies. Oh, dude. I think that's gonna be like I'm just gonna start randomly wearing random hats. Fucking.
Oh, that's good. Oh. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. No, I was actually thinking about fucking getting some work done on the game today. I might play a little bit games with Hayden if you want to join. But
Maybe. I probably. I don't know. I was kind of itching to get that done. Because I do need to just, yeah, keep the posts going. And also, I just kind of. So I make the list, right? And then. I don't know. I do most of the list usually. Sometimes I don't, but I'm just at the point where I just need to make a new list. Want to do like the dash icons, then like dash icon scripts.
you know, I'd love to help you with some of these things, but honestly, with how you've just set up the whole thing, basically, you would do it so much faster. And so I'll just focus on level editing and shit.
No, yeah.
On the next one, if you wanna try and like give me a programming project from the beginning, we can totally.
Well, so something that is definitely something you could if you wanted to. That I don't think. I'm not like super interested in doing, but potentially you could be. It's just like all the interactable objects that could be in a scene. I feel like that's pretty modular. Like if you wanted to.
So I could like program items probably.
Or like traps, or like if you press a button.
That wouldn't be too hard to make like some slime that slows you down or something like that.
Something. I don't know. I mean,
I'd just have to adjust the player movement variables in that situation.
Yeah. There's just
And even to like, if you already have the burning effect, I could probably combine that with like a pit of lava and like, if motherfuckers go past that, they catch on fire.
Essentially, so the all the players' abilities and stuff that do damage, it's a health pool dropper script, whereas the all the stuff that does damage to the player is just projectile collision. Really, it could just be collision or damage collision, because you can slap that on anything, and anything that the player collides with will just take damage. And then depending on
Hey, Dave.
player object, spawn object prefab, I don't know. So really there are just like two damage scripts. There's a script from damage from the player, and there's a script from damage to the player.
And so then we can just modify the damage to the player if we want to like give them armor type of shit or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really want to mess with like resistances necessarily, or armor. If anything, like
We could even just go for like a. It would be cool to maybe have like a one of the playstyles be
maybe just like
a sort
flat
of tank.
Maybe just flat damage reduction, because there's going to be other survivability stuff in it too.
No, yeah, we don't. I mean, in a bullet hell, I feel like you don't need a tank play, because you could just have it be like avoid the bullets, and there's different strategies to avoid the bullets. Mm-hmm. But it wouldn't be a horrible idea to have one of them be the advantage of this class is you can get shot more often and not die.
Yeah.
For the people that aren't they like the other aspects than the bullet hell type of thing.
Mhm. No, yeah, I think like flat damage reduction, but I don't want to want to have like a whole resistances system with like you have magic resistance, fire resistance.
No. I feel like that's a little too complicated for the vibe we're going for.
I think it would just distract from everything else that's gonna be going on.
No, I like that we're keeping it like modular and to the point. It's just a game, and it's gonna be a fun game. Like it doesn't have to have a ton of bells and whistles.
I think having some sort of like flat damage reduction mechanic would be good.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna upload that to YouTube and chop it up right now to make clips. Oh yeah.
Good.
Yeah, this is their physics system, by the way. You can just put this on any object, and then it has mass, drag. Gravity is kinematic.
It is kind of fucking wild how intricate Unity's built-in physics are. Like how little you have to fuck with them in order to just have like gravity and stuff like that. Unity really is just like it changes the entire process, especially when you mix it with AI. Fucking changes the entire process of making a game. I feel like.
Yeah.
From the old days back, like when I grew up, I always thought of making a game would be like. You have to learn how to program every individual thing and make your own engine, basically.
Well, that's why I'm kind of interested in making tutorials, is just because there are a lot of people who don't.
No, there's a lot of kids. There's a lot of kids growing up that have access to this, and they fucking, there's also a lot of people that would love to learn that are adults, but especially the kids, man. Fucking, that is always...
I mean, we had access to Unity as well when we were teens. It's just we didn't have all the information to know that, like, oh, you just...
I didn't know how easy it was.
No, yeah, that's the thing. No one does.
I think most people assume that it's all code. They don't realize that, like, you can fucking, like, drag and drop things, you know?
Well, they don't... Well, yeah, and they don't realize how, like... Yeah, they just... No one knows what creation tools are available.
Well, and
out
I
there.
think a lot of people, I always imagined that you would have to make your own assets. I didn't even consider that you could just buy a pack, buy a couple packs of assets and then mix them together. You know, that fucking with the community market for shit, Unity and AI, making a video game has never been easier, man. Fucking.
I'll show
And then also you can just post it on. You don't even have to market it really. You can just post it on Steam, and that's a lot of your marketing. You know.
I'll show you the.
You don't have to go through like a big publisher or anything.
What am I looking for? Rabbit hole. I'll show you this real quick.
Yo.
Show you this real quick.
What?
Rabbit hole. Okay. So.
Wait, what? Oh, you got one? Holy
There
shit.
we go. Magic Camera Freestyle, but in the style of Studio Ghibli. So, I could have it just make that an icon for something. Let's see.
That is so cool, dude.
There it is. And now we just have an icon that we can use.
Oh, that's so fucking cool.
And what I've been doing, honestly, so it'll give me that, right? And I've been taking my icon, that one that's already made, and just to make it like cohesive, I'm just taking like the clone stamp tool and just like, you know, where is it? Is this the layer? Yeah. Ooh. Wait, are they both on the same layer? Wait, what layer? Alright. Is this? Okay. Clone stamp tool? Why isn't it?
Rasterized.
There we go. And, you know, you can come in here and just, like, change the colors. That's what I've done. You know, and then, like, this is sloppy, or whatever.
So is it just copying that image on the right to the left?
Yeah, I'm just mostly, like, grabbing the colors from it.
That's so cool, man.
And then, you know, you can just select different. I don't know, I did that one. I'll show you what that one ended up looking like.
God, those are some cool looking icons.
No, yeah, they did. Especially just like me going in and touching them up. Come on, scroll over. Okay. Yeah, it was that one. That's what that started as, and I just, you know, it probably took like 5 minutes to